Everybody stand, kneel. Howard, what I say in the picture.
Dear Lord, we ask you as we come together and meet as your representatives for the city, that you would give us the foresight and the wisdom to do your business in a calm and respectful way. We ask that you guide us and direct us and help us to see the future for our city, our beautiful city. We ask this in the name of our Lord and Savior. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I'd like to have the approval of the minutes of February 27th, which is our regular council meeting, March 1st work session, March 20th work session. Have approval?
I believe there's one typo in the minutes. Tuesday, February, he said minutes.
Oh, I'm sorry. Did you say minutes or adoption of the agenda?
No. Approval of the minutes.
February 27th, on the last page, under item number 20, it's where I made a motion to not any additional credit to the water bill, and Councilor Duke seconded the motion and passed it. But it says not any additional credit. Is that what we want? Not any additional, should add. That's what it should not add any additional. I believe.
We already give them a partial credit, so, because based on previous billing.
This is not any.
To not any additional, to not add, it should have the word add.
Okay, all right, I'll
I
do
believe
the
that's
correction.
what, thank you. I move that we accept the minutes with that correction.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
And we have the adoption of the agenda for today.
I'd like to make a motion to make an amendment to add something to the agenda. I'd like to make a motion that we add an executive session to consult and meet with legal counsel pertaining to potential litigation.
What litigation? What litigation?
We can talk about in the executive session.
A second.
And that is item 20, well, be up here, 23, or 22A. Do I have any, been moved and seconded, do I have any discussion on this
Is it going to be before the adjournment or after the adjournment?
before the adjournment?
Okay.
How do you adjourn from
I'm
this?
sorry, after the adjournment. Excuse me.
No, it has to be before.
Before the adjournment?
Yeah, 22.
22A. All right. Tell my wife that.
We do need a second.
I did.
Okay.
Yeah, we have a
Yes,
second.
we have a
just haven't
second.
taken a vote.
We had a second.
Yes.
Yeah,
Second.
moved and second. No discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So carried. Mayor's remarks. The program. The business today, we have had a lot of discussion on different things, which we'll be talking about. We do have a little problem with our police department. We need extra deputies. We're sent out notices and so forth. The ones we have are working long hours and doing us a good job. That we're very proud of, our police force. Vaughn, our police chief, is recuperating from his problems. He's going to need an operation, but we'll know tomorrow just what, when, and and then we're in hopes that he'll be back with us shortly after the operation. He feels he will be. David Edwards is improving daily. He feels that he probably could come back and work part-time within a month. He'll know this week also, which is good. And we can use him part-time. He won't be 100%, but he'll be able to drive, able to do work in the office. And so that would relieve the pressure of longer hours for the 3 people that we do have. And that's about all I have. Council remarks. We'll start with you, Al.
No comments?
No comment. Okay, I like that, man. Paul?
I don't have anything, thank you.
I do.
I know.
I just want to welcome everybody here this morning and wish them a very blessed Easter week. And I think this church is Friday, it's open what time for people to come in and pray? Do you know?
I don't.
I think it is, at any rate. And then Presbyterian Church is open between 9 and 12, Helen, is that correct? I'm not sure about the chapel, but church services are like Sunday, 9, 10, and 11 around here, so just pick. That's it.
Neil?
Yes, good morning, and I don't know how many may have seen it, but in the Clayton Tribune on March the 8th, our city clerk was honored. She was elected the district director for the Georgia Municipal Clerks and Finance Officers Association for the coming year, and congratulations, Ella.
Just say good morning, everyone, and again, I'd like to congratulate Ella. That's a good job. So,
Thank you.
Under the progress report, these are all just to keep us in the council aware that we haven't got it, haven't finished on this. Our radar sign, as we said before, is in the garage, and that we're waiting for our police chief to come back and to install it. Our fire department lease projected for the May work session. SDS, we're going to have we had a meeting on the 21st. It's in negotiation. Splosh, it's the same. Our pavilion, Connie?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, for giving this to me. We're trying to get prices on 8 picnic tables, and we're getting prices on electrical wiring with lights. We need 3 bids. labor only or material and labor, but the city can buy the material cheaper because we can get it tax-free or
Tax-free.
tax-free. And the city is checking on prices of charcoal units, like the ones the timeshare units have. And the city's going to check on the cost of a cement pad to put these.
Question, can I ask a question? Just curious if you have considered with the lights, including those as fans with lights might be nice.
I agree. Take the bugs away.
So, move the air. It can get very, we've had meetings over there before, it can get very warm. That's a great idea.
Thank you.
Are you taking contributions for supplying some of the stuff, or how do you plan to pay for it?
More than likely, yes. I'm getting with to yes, we are.
They won't pay for it.
Mhm.
Rules of procedure from, I'll ask our attorney, Darrell, to speak on that.
On number 13,
Yes.
at the work session, y'all had asked me to look at the charter and also the ordinance from 2013 that amended the charter on the rules of procedure. And let's see, what I did was I drafted an ordinance that would amend section 2.22 of the rules of procedure to strike out, I think it was section 5, the last line about the mayor being part of the legislative body. And then also to amend section 4 on the quorum to make it, instead of 4 members being a quorum, 3 members being a quorum. And so what I have done that here. The statute to amend the charter, you can do it by home rules, OCGA 36-35-3. In order to do that, we would have to run a notice in the paper in order to change the charter. You have to have 2 readings and eventually you would vote on it. But I went ahead and drafted just kind of a draft ordinance for y'all to look at if y'all want to take a look at that. And then if you want to get the process started, we can vote on that at some point. Do y'all have any questions?
No, other than, one correction on that 13, I think you meant just putting a period at that, what was the end of the word? We were taking out the very last part of that sentence, not, or are you taking out the part of the legislative body as well, aren't you?
I think we were.
Yeah,
That's
okay,
what I had
that's
in my
right.
notes, yeah.
Yeah, I got you, okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'd like to just refer that to our next work session.
That's right. And I can give it to the city manager, and she can email it to y'all, and have to look at what I've done, but I did put together a draft for that.
Oh, good, yeah, we need time to look at that.
Copies be available soon?
I've got a hard copy here, which I can leave,
Well,
and then
then-
I can email.
They'll put it in our box.
Okay.
Let's see, audit projected for the June work session. Linda?
Jolene Nixon is working on the audit and it's due the end of June, so I would project that she will probably be at our workshop in June. But if she gets done earlier, then we can do it earlier, but typically they're pretty busy until after the April tax filing and then they kind of gear back up.
Item 15, I'm referring to you again.
Okay, this would be the surplus lots.
Mhm.
Yes, the city manager emailed me last week about a couple of, looks like tax deeds that the city has, and she said that y'all would like to auction them off as surplus properties. And I've taken a look at the statute. I did need to, do you have a copy of those deeds? You did? If I could just take a look at that, that would probably, just to make sure that the deeds were done properly back in 1996. And if they were, then there is a statute that would allow y'all to sell these parcels off.
But what we wanted to do was just group them
Yeah.
and just sell, put it out for bid for the whole package.
Okay, so it's 2 properties?
No, there's
No,
more, those just two that were
Did you-
closed.
Okay, do you know how many total there were?
I don't remember 4. 5, 6, maybe.
Okay. So,
But now the council, I don't know, y'all talked about grouping them and then y'all split them apart and said you were gonna do them individually, and so I don't,
No, the
No.
last, back in April when we talked about this, it was all one big group that was gonna,
but there were 2 people that specifically wanted to bid on.
to bid, and it was just a comment, it wasn't a change.
I was there, and I think Linda's correct. It was individually, and then you wanted to change it to a group, and that was never agreed to
It was agreed that they would become available separately.
separately. I was there.
Well, I had recommended
Chip, yeah.
that we put together and do sell them at an auction individually.
Right.
And several land auctions that I've been a part of, they sell the properties individually, then they total up the take from each individual sale, and whatever that total is, then the group starts from there. If there's somebody that wants to pay greater than what that brought in.
Right, that's in the city's best interest, right?
Exactly, so that gives you the best of both worlds. So it does give the opportunity of the single, which I think that's actually the way they would probably move anyway, but I think, this takes care of what Bob wants to do and gives some opportunities that I know are out there. Does that sound fair to you, Bob?
No,
Okay.
we have a lot of lots that are really unbuildable, and we still have it. And if we group them all together, the good ones and the bad ones, put it out for bid, those that they can bid on, the whole package, and no matter what we get, we're getting all our property back under the tax base. And so we're going to get taxes off all of it. If we go back to the old way, what they've been doing in the past, just putting out the premium ones, that's all. We're still stuck with all these others. We're not getting taxes out of it. So if we group them all together, good, bad, then we're going to get some tax money out of it, everything.
I propose that we discuss this in thorough with the maps of the lots and all that at our next work session.
I would like to make a comment.
I think more than just a couple, Bob, there's a list. I mean, this includes like the city hall, but that's quite a list. I don't know which one of these, but that's every piece of property the city owns, so.
True, we're not saying we're going to take off the.
That's why I think we need to
talk about the
discuss it in detail.
houses, the lots.
No, I understand what I'm saying. I think there's more than just 2 or 3. There's several on here that are unidentified.
Yeah.
So, anyway, that's all. I just want to make that point that there were several.
Mr. Mayor?
Mr. Mayor, you have someone raise their hand.
Just a moment. Linda, would you take all our lots, property, not City Hall or that, but that we have, for sale, or would be for sale, make a complete list, give it to the attorney, and send us a copy of everything. And we'll discuss this at a further time.
so just to be clear, there's only 2 lots though that have a question over the tax. Okay, I'll look at that.
Yes, sir.
I would not be an expert in Georgia property taxes, and I understood what you said, and I think it makes perfect sense. Except, if you forced somebody to buy all 6, for maybe they only wanted 1 or 2 that were buildable, would they not just not pay the taxes on the ones they don't want, and maybe take them back again? So I would argue that your logic makes sense, except that I think in reality it will not work, because if I wanted 2 of the good lots and you made me buy all 6, I just give you back the other 4. Right?
Possible.
Okay.
Why we need to discuss.
Yeah, that's one.
I'll look at it and then I'll see if there's a way we can.
Yeah.
I'll look at it.
16, Ray Becker, who has been our water and sewer authority for the county, as you all know, he has a few problems, and so he asked if we could appoint somebody else, and we have appointed Mike Commons, and I'd like to have the board either to somebody to appoint him.
I move that we accept Mike Collins as our representative for water sewer as nominated by our mayor.
I'll second that.
Been moved and seconded. Do I have a vote? Comments?
Yeah.
I call for the question.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, let's see, ethics ordinance.
It appears that it's been drafted as we discussed in the workshop. So I move that we approve the ordinance as amended by our workshop.
Second. Moved and second that the amendments to the ordinance that we discussed at the workshop has been made, and that the ethic ordinance as written and moved and second, we accept it. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? All right, agreement with the Raven County Hotel Motel Tax. Chip, you have something you'd like to say? Take care of for us?
Let me find it out here, Bob, and I'll be ready. I just want to say that currently we are collecting 5% hotel motel sales tax, 3% of which we are allowed to retain. Anything over above the 3% is currently being under contract with Raven County with the Development Authority. We're giving them 2% now. Under Code 481351, and y'all all heard us talk about developing a comprehensive land plan and trying to make all this available. According to this code, we are not required to give all of this money. We can use all of this money ourselves and not give 2% back to the Development Authority. Funding is available. It says here it shall include cost and expenses of all things necessary for the construction and operation of facilities, of a facility or facilities, including but not limited to the study, operation, and marketing. And that's what I think we'd be best served by using that money for, study here to make sure what the feasibility of moving forward with the plans are. So that's all I have to say about that, and I provided the council members with a copy of the ordinance. And of course, we need to know from our attorney if what I propose and what appears on the surface is reasonable and doable.
So, if I can clarify, currently the city levies a 5% hotel motel tax. It keeps 3% in-house and sends 2% to the Raven County Development Authority, is that correct?
Right.
Okay.
As I understand, and this is why we need clarification from you, but as I understand in Georgia Code 481351, that as long as we are not spending monies or have an assembly to do so for our own, we have to have a contract with a third party who, like the TDA. However, if we do put in place something here, then we can use the money ourselves.
So your proposal is not to contract with the TDA, but to have a entity here in Sky Valley that would promote tourism?
Yes. And of course, if, you know, provide for feasibility studies and marketing and so forth, once we get that done. So as far as our voting on this, what have we got here? I guess it's a contract with the TDA. I would like to see us postpone this until we get the information from you.
Is there a deadline on signing this with the TDA?
Not that I know of, but my question would be if we wanted to put in a authority or whatever to be able to collect and use the tax ourselves, can that be done this year?
I'm not certain. I'm not certain if we could do that here just by ordinance, or if we would have to go through the legislature to change the charter or anything like that. I would have to look at that.
I'm pretty sure it's by local legislature, or by act of the legislature.
Okay, it may be. I haven't had a chance to look at it, so. And then that would obviously probably not even take place until next year.
Right. So we have to have something for
Well, we just
this
hear more
year.
from him. I mean, he needs to,
Yeah.
what I wanna have is Doug take a look at what I'm proposing and make sure it's even legal and feasible, and to do so.
Okay.
You want to report back next week on this, Ken?
Yes, I can. I'll report back. Basically, the issue is if we can create our own entity, can we do it by ordinance here, or do we have to go through the state legislature, which won't be meeting again until next January? And so I'll take a look at that.
Okay.
So you know, motion to postpone.
I'll make a motion that we table the agreement with the Raven County TDA until further investigation is done by the city attorney.
Have a second on that?
I'll second.
Questions? Can I ask a question?
Yes.
Okay. What would be the reason for not working with the Tourism Development Authority?
I'm not proposing we don't work with them, I propose that we keep our money in-house, and I think that we, using our own money, in other words, the money that we send down to TDA goes for marketing for all of Raven County and so forth. So in other words, we really need to work on our issues here, and I'd rather see our money be spent right here. That doesn't mean we don't work with them in the future as well, love to work with them. But I do want to think about keeping that money here in-house, because we need it for our own programs.
True.
But do we not get a report from the TDA about how they spend our 2%? Linda?
Yes,
Yes.
annual report.
Okay. What was the last time we received that report?
The end of the year,
Huh?
the end of last year.
End of last year?
Or, yeah, I mean, we've got it before the end of last year. They sent it, what, the last month, maybe.
Could I ask that you put that copy of that in our boxes so we can see that as well?
Sure, and it's not very detailed, it's kind of lumped together, but it's what they're required to give
Yeah, I
us.
want to see what they're saying anyway,
Yeah.
Well,
as we discussed.
you know, I brought this up in our last workshop, and since the time of our workshop, now TDA has come back and Linda copied us on an email. And it says, I did want to let you know that I'm working on our digital marketing, working with our digital marketing company, specifically for Sky Valley. I'm going to run a digital campaign that is specific to Sky Valley as well as the entire county, but it will feature Sky Valley. That will be one of the things we're doing specifically. You can let your folks know in Sky Valley. However, I won't have anything to show them. So I don't understand, I mean, all of a sudden this comes out, and they're gonna do a digital marketing program featuring Sky Valley, which is great, but how does digital marketing not come with analytics? So it's kind of, we're gonna do something, but we're not gonna tell you what it's gonna produce. That concerns me.
Well, I'm just saying we need to evaluate everything that there is to evaluate, not jump the gun or anything else. Make sure we're doing, not cutting off our.
That's why I'm doing this study, man, instead of saying, hey, let's get rid of it, I need more. I'd like to see us get more information from our attorneys.
Yeah, I'd like to see it. You got a hand.
Bob?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, I was just curious as to how much money that actually equates to, that 2%. I mean, in terms of dollar
Linda?
amounts, if we have an idea.
I can't remember, I thought the report with DCA, and don't quote me on this, but I believe it was about $6,600 last year.
Thank you.
Did you say $6,600? Because I can hardly hear you down here.
Yes, sir, 6,600.
I want to say our budget is for 10 total, so we're probably budgeting at the 4,000, but I think it was slightly higher last year.
And I think she's correct, 'cause if I remember, we took in 17,000 in hotel motel taxes, and them getting 2% out of the 5 is actually 40% of the money, so that is $6,800, so, yeah.
Before we go to the next item, I forgot a very important item.
I think we gotta finish it.
Mayor, point of order.
Where?
We got
We
to
need to
vote.
vote on that motion first.
Well,
We have a motion on the floor.
motion and a second
For
For tabling.
for tabling the agreement with TDA until further review.
all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Well, I was so excited because I forgot an item way back here at item 7. City manager's report, I'm sorry.
Man, you skipped right over me, that's okay. Forgot what I was gonna say.
You don't get any cookies.
Well, I'll make it brief. I did want to let everybody know that we were able to get 2 small grants. We got a FireWise grant for $3,000 for mitigation and fuel reduction work. So we're going to be trimming trees that encroach over the roadway. City roads are one of the best defenses in creating fire breaks, and when the tree canopies connect from one side of the road to the other, forest fires can spread quickly. So we're going to try to, there's a whole lot to do. If you ride the city roads, it's hard to find somewhere where they don't connect, but we're going to be doing as much of that as we can with our own staff. Some of the trees are too high for our bucket truck to even reach, so we may contract some of that out, and we'll use that grant money for that. And then we also received a Wildfire Community Preparedness Day grant of $500. That's their maximum award. And Wildfire Preparedness Day is going to be Saturday, May 5th, and the goal is to have homeowners clear debris, leaf litter, and other flammables 60 feet away from their front and sides of their home, prune trees up to 6 or 8 feet above the ground level within that zone, and mulch shrubs with non-flammable materials such as river stone. And the city will collect the limbs and bagged leaves on that following Monday, May 7th. And then other than that, I did want to let you know that the water tanks, the cleanings and inspections that were approved last month, that has been done, and we were in good shape. I've got all the reports on all of those, but all that has been completed.
May I ask Linda a question, please?
Sure.
I know that Mud Creek Road is in Macon County, but down in front of the junction at that stoplight, that road's in bad shape. Is there any contacts that you have in Macon County that we can get that repaired?
I have made a complaint, and I've also gone through their website. They have an online complaint system that you can fill out, and it goes directly to their engineers or whatever. So I've already done that. I did that and the caution light when the tree was laying on the caution light too. But they finally cut that a little bit more. It's like pulling teeth, but they are aware of it. I haven't gotten a response yet, but
That ain't gonna last much longer. It's got a big hole down
yeah.
there.
The state of North Carolina is bidding out redoing that whole road from the Georgia state line, the Highlands, mentioning some of those white marks on the road. That's where they do an aerial flyover, and they send that out to the contractor. So they're probably postponing that to take care of when they do that project. With that being said, we should, make a complaint. Thanks for bringing that up.
Could be passed.
Well, that answered the question. I was just fixing to ask Linda what's been going on out there, so that's good.
I heard that they might be widening, doing some widening, is that what you
Yeah,
heard?
they're gonna widen shoulders where they can. I think definitely widen that real narrow bridge right by, Highlands Gap there.
That's where you had your accident,
But just this side of it, they'll probably make it there.
All right, Arbor Day proclamation.
What about 19?
Whereas in 1872, J. Sterling Morton proposed to the Nebraska Board of Agriculture that a special day be set aside for the planting of trees. That's what we need here. And whereas this holiday, called Arbor Day, was the first observed with the planting of more than 1 million trees in Nebraska. And whereas Arbor Day is now observed throughout the nation and the world, and whereas trees can reduce the erosion of our precious topsoil by wind and water, cut heating and cooling costs, moderate the temperatures, clean the air, produce life-giving oxygen, and provide habitat for wildlife, and whereas trees are renewable resources giving us paper, wood for our homes, fuel for our fires, and countless other wood products. And whereas trees in our city increase property values, enhance the economic variety of business areas and beautification and community, and whereas trees, wherever they are planted, are the source of joy and spiritual renewal. Therefore, I, Robert McNair, Mayor of the City of Sky Valley, do hereby proclaim April 27th, 2018 as Arbor Day in the city of the Sky Valley, Georgia. And I urge all citizens to celebrate Arbor Day and to support efforts to produce trees and woodland. Further, I urge all citizens to plant trees to gladden the hearts and promote the well-being of this and future generations.
We gotta go back to 19. Why? Well, we skipped over the probation contract.
Oh. Okay.
Is that all right?
I'm flexible. All right, consider contract probation service. Linda?
This is our contract for probation services. This is the probation company that our judge works with and all the municipalities that he works with. And we do an annual contract with them. So this is their contract. Their fees are paid by the offenders. But sometimes people can't pay a fine. So that's usually when our probation services are used, it just allows them more time to pay a fine.
How long have we been using?
I mean, we've always had a probation company, we've been using them for 2 or 3 years, I think.
2 or 3 years?
And we don't have any
I
fees
never
associated
remember
with this?
this being brought up when I was on council before.
Yep, well,
Why are we just now finding out about this when this is a January, the contract is to begin January 1, 2018?
They just delivered the contract. They just delivered it to us.
Okay. Mr. Attorney, what will we, how do we handle Is there any liability or any problems between today's date and January 1, when I assume the contract died in December 31st, 17?
I'm assuming y'all had a contract for last year, so I
Right.
mean, I imagine you've probably been going month to month since then, but you haven't had municipal court since then, although, do you know if there's any people on probation currently from our court? Yeah, so I don't see any problem with signing it in March for the 2018 year.
Well, that wasn't exactly my question. My concern was, is there any liability that we're exposed to from being without, or a month-to-month, or an implied contract between this date and December 31st of 17?
I don't think so. I think, in our situation, if there's nobody actually currently on probation, then I don't think anything has happened.
Okay, then,
So,
thank you, sir.
Motion to approve contract for probation services. Have a motion?
Seconded.
Who moved?
Al?
Okay, I couldn't
He
hear.
didn't, he states that, but he didn't. Well,
Been moved and second, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. True Vista audit. Linda?
In our last meeting, we talked about the services GMA offers for doing the audit of our franchise fees. And you all had asked if they keep a part of their money that they collect, if any. And I emailed the information to you all once I got it, that says they don't keep any of the money. So we contract with them for that service, you know, on an annual basis for telemarketing services. And as a part of that, they provide those services. So this is just ratification of the go-ahead and get them started.
Proposal for upgrade internet phone service.
I still need a vote.
We did vote on this. I make a motion to. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm always getting ahead of you.
I'll second it. Doug, I have a question. You've looked at this wrong, good.
yes, and actually, if I can chime in, this is actually a very good deal. I know there's actually some law firms out there that do this on behalf of cities, and they charge a contingency fee. And I know a couple of cities that I've worked with have used GMA, they don't charge anything, and so they do a good job of recovering those franchise fees.
Wonderful.
The
I'll
move,
reset.
the moved and second. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? All right, on the internet phone service, ours is very antiquated. And we have an expert with us today that's gonna talk to us, Ellen.
Yes, sir. We've been looking at doing some upgrades to our phone system. We currently have Windstream, and our upload speeds are very, very slow. Like the videos that we have of the meetings will take all day, all night, and sometimes they won't even upload in 24 hours. So what we started doing was looking at it. We got prices from Windstream. And they were willing to give us a price of $210 more in addition to what we were paying. That was only 10. And the Windstream, also we started looking at TrueVista. We had TrueVista come in. They are local, and they do have fiber that is right at our building. Windstream does not currently have fiber at our building, so we needed something that was going to give us a little in our upgrade speed. So we, after talking with them, they could double it and give us 20 megs on a direct fiber. So what we were looking at as well, we also got another quote with TrueVista for improving our phone system, because our phone system is about 12, 14 years old. And with TrueVista, we'll be using the Voice over IP system, which is actually so much better because you can program each phone and you'd be able to call each individual directly. And you also, like if we need to move an office, you just pick up the phone and move it. You can forward it to your cell phone, you can forward it to your house number if you needed to do that. It's just a much better system, so my recommendation is that we go with the True Vista, and the new phone system at $745.93 per month. And the installation, they told me they can actually get started once we get this agreement signed. We can do a 48-month agreement, and they will do away with the $5,600 installation and another $1,000 installation that they also were going to charge us. That was a non-reoccurring fee. They're willing to waive that if we will enter into a contract with them at this point. They really want our business, and we really need to do something where we're at, because we have a very antiquated system.
I think this is a no-brainer.
And you're paying now, according to Bob, $558, right? And if you do that with the equipment, you take the equipment cost and based what you just said and divide that by the 48 months, that has a value of $137. So, let's see what, 558. See, you're only going up $45 if you look at it that way.
If you can consider the equipment upgrades, yes, sir.
You know,
And they're gonna provide us all the phones at no additional charge. This is actually just for the service itself.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, makes
Makes it much easier, because if you have a problem with the phone, and I did talk with them in the city of Toccoa. I talked with Jan, and she said they have the system and they love it. She says the upgrade speed, she says when you gotta upload something, it's right there, you're on your internet, there's no hesitation. They highly recommended it. And they will be setting us up email addresses, they'll come in and do all of our installations. And once we get the phone system in-house, they will keep somebody there with us for a few days to make sure that if we have any trouble, they can walk us through it. So the customer service is very good, and I think that would be a good plus for the city of Sky Valley.
The only thing they can't do is the fax lines.
Yeah.
They can set it up where you can get incoming fax through your email, but you can't do outgoing fax. So we would have to have Windstream for fax, and that's included in that price too, keeping those fax.
Actually, I use an online fax service where I don't have a machine, you know, it just goes to a telephone number online and comes right as a PDF into an email box, and that's, I don't know, $6 or $8 or something, if that a month. It's not very much.
Well, we might could look at doing something and not having Windstream at all.
Yeah, I mean, and if you want to send one, you just take like a PDF or a Word document, whatever it is, and you have like a little, just like going to a printer, you just print to your fax and it automatically goes out to somebody else's phone number.
I'll check that out too.
Well, being in the phone service for 32 years, seeing what they have been serviced at the office now and what they're going to get, I would strongly recommend to the council to approve this. Do I have a motion?
I will definitely make a motion that we go with True Vista.
And I'll definitely second.
Been moved and second.
I'll third.
All in favor?
Further discussion, please, Bob. I had one thing on that. I just want to clarify that Neil's motion is approving the contract with True Vista. It's not approving the Windstream fax lines at this point, because that's something that we're going to look into potential other service.
If we need it, I
Yeah.
agree.
Yeah.
Okay.
I just meant True Vista.
Yeah, I just want to clarify.
Any further?
We vote on this, but moved and seconded, correction to Neil's proposal. All in favor?
Aye.
So,
No, there's no correction, because that's all I said, so we go to True Vista.
correct.
Okay,
Clarification.
clarification.
We're going to have to go into executive session now.
I'll make a motion that we close this meeting to go into executive session.
For the purposes of litigation.
I can let you know.
No, I mean, you have to say
Oh, we
what,
did, you weren't here yet. We're going in to discuss potential litigation with our attorney. Yeah, thanks, Tom.
Litigation concerning SDS.
Do I have a second? Second. All in favor?
Will we be coming back in here for the
Yeah.
public comments?
Definitely.
Yes.
So y'all,
After executive session, after re-entry.
oh, okay, so you're gonna hang around so you can say something.
Are we going into a room, or are we gonna have everybody go out and come in
Be
here?
better if they could leave.
I mean, we could go in the sanctuary.
That he did?
Yeah, it is.
Is it on?
Yeah, it is.
Ask for a motion to come out of executive session.
I'd like to have a motion to come out of the executive session.
So
I
moved.
move, okay. Paul moved, I second.
Moving second, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion to come back into regular session.
Now we have to have a motion to come back in the general.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Go ahead and announce that there was no action to be taken on litigation.
There's been, at our meeting, there's been no action taken on the litigation for SDS. Now. Okay. We have the public forum now for any questions, general comments by anybody? Yes, ma'am.
I have a couple of questions. One of them is the radar sign that's pending or has arrived, the radar sign,
Yes.
yes. Why does it have to wait for Mr. Estes?
Well, he has to check the proper location. You can't just stick it out there. You gotta have distance. And he did measure it, different spots. And then when they first tried to purchase one, the distance wasn't correct so that it would operate. So then he changed to a different light, and so we're just waiting till.
Okay, so he
So
can't.
he'll probably be back, hopefully if he has this operation, within a month he'll be back.
And he can't direct his cohorts.
They get training on it and all that. so
Oh,
it'd
okay.
be-
All right. One more question to Paul, I think this is.
Yes, ma'am.
I've been out of town for a couple months, and I did watch the February council meeting and all this business about the tree ordinance.
Yes.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but I thought I heard you say that you had a full report on that survey that
Yes.
you were going to have for this meeting.
Yeah, I can't remember if I said I was gonna have it at this meeting, but yes, we have a full report.
Okay, and all of us get that full report, results of the
what's
survey?
What's the best way to make that available, Chip? Should we put it on the website? or-
Put it on your website.
Yeah.
Okay,
I can send out I can put it on the website and send out an email,
That would be
notice, results of tree survey dated this, click here to see.
A link to.
Yeah, get a link, yeah.
oh, great, okay.
And that will tell us how many people responded, correctly?
Yeah, yeah.
Out of and how many people it was sent to.
And their comment.
And
And all the comments.
even if they didn't make comments.
What was the number of total surveys that you sent out? It seemed like a really high number.
734
That's
of
what I
them.
thought, 700, we have 734 people who could vote on that? Who, I didn't know there was that many people in this.
Well, you mean citizen voters?
Yeah,
People that vote in city elections? No, there's not that many people. But we believe, or I believed on that issue that the opinion of all the taxpayers was important to consider.
Okay. Okay.
I just have a question. On the SDS, the relationship between the county and the city of Clayton, I know you're the representative there. Are we making progress in them arriving at some type of reconciliation?
Yes, we've made a lot of progress in the last meeting.
That's good news.
Yeah.
That's good news.
I missed SDS. That's the acronym for what?
Service Delivery Strategy.
Strategy, okay, thank you.
Any other comments? Then I'll have a motion
I
to
move
adjourn.
Adjourn the city council meeting.
Second.
We move second, all in favor?
Aye.
It was lovely.
Mr. Kid, I just have a real quick question for you, actually. So I'm wondering,